Hi everybody, I'm Will. These are my daughters. They are 8 and 11?
Almost 12.
Almost 12 years old. I taught them how to do the Rubik's Cube though when they were each 7 years old. And I think if you're 7 years old and you're watching this, I can teach you too. I learned using these same steps though when I was about 28. So if you're anywhere in between those two age ranges, you're probably okay. If you're way older than that, that's fine too. I think anybody can learn this. And we're going to cover that in a series of eight steps, 8 videos. But you could think of this as video 0, where we're gonna cover kind of all the pieces and all the basic movements of a Rubik's Cube. And before we get to those movements though, I wanna make sure you know what type of cube to use in the first place. You should be using a 3x3 cube. You can see that, standard cube, standard colors. Not a 2x2, not one of these twisty cubes. We can cover those later in other videos though. And also we have a tiger in our video. It's not real. Okay, let's cover some of the pieces of the Rubik's Cube. First thing we want to cover are the corners. A Rubik's Cube has 8 corners total. It has 4 white corners and 4 yellow corners. A corner is basically any piece that has 3 colors. So you can see some of these other pieces, those are not corners. So again, we have 4 white corners, 4 yellow corners. In addition to those, we have the 6 faces of the cube. And what that really is just this flat piece in the middle of each side of the cube. There are 6 total. And these face pieces never actually move. Like we turn a bunch of things around those pieces, but these actual pieces in here never really move in relation to each other. Even if I do something like this and turn that whole cube, the green and the blue sides are always opposite one another. It's the same thing with the white and yellow. Those 2 pieces are always opposite one another. Same thing with the red and the orange. So you have the 8 corners, the 6 faces, and that leaves us with 12 edges. And those are basically everything in between. So you have these 4 pieces, the 4 yellow edges, you have the 4 white edges, and then we have 4 edges in the middle. And one here, 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 and here. A total of 26 pieces of this Rubik's Cube. You don't really need to know that there are 26 pieces. It's just nice to know that there are corners, faces, and edge pieces. So now, let's get into the movements. We cover a lot of this material in a book I recently wrote with the help of my kids. That's available at the links below. Again, covers the same sort of thing. It just has kind of a step-by-step walkthrough with the pictures. This particular page is covering the corners that we just talked about and some of the edge pieces. This one came off my printer. It looks a little crappy, but I assure you it's better on the Amazon links below. A lot of the basic movements, it really just comes down to 5 movements, and we're going to show you those in a moment. And each of those movements has 3 variations. It has a forward or standard movement, a backwards, or what we call a back movement, and a tube movement or a double movement. And we're going to cover those right now. The first movement we're going to cover is the right movement, sometimes abbreviated as the letter R. And what that is where you're going to take your right hand, all right, Liv, and you're going to turn the right side of the cube 1 time away from you. That's a right twist. And now we also have...
We have our back, which is basically backwards.
Yeah, it's just like a right twist, but we call it our back, and you're just doing the opposite. You're bringing it back towards you, and then what else?
We have R2, which is R twice.
Just 2 twists in either direction. It doesn't matter which direction, it's just 180 degrees. It's gonna bring you halfway there. Okay, the next movement, similar to the right, we call it the left movement. And that's where we use our left hand, there you go, Liv, and we turn the cube, the left side of the cube away from us. Just like that, just 1 time. That was 4 movements in a row, just to give you an idea. And now the L back is where we take it and we turn it back towards us just 1 time. Liv's gonna do a few of them just so you get the idea.
And then we have L2, which is same with right, it's just twice.
Just 2 twists of that left side, either direction. The next thing we're going to cover is what we call the F twist. That's where you take the side of the cube closest to you or in your front. So it's going to be yellow for me as it faces me. It's going to be white as you face the camera. And Liv's going to show us, we're going to turn the face of the cube, the front of the cube, clockwise. That's what we call an F twist. And what else we got, Ari?
We also have F back, which is just back.
Yep, you're going to turn the front of that cube counterclockwise.
Yep. And then we have, same as usual, twice, F2.
Yep, and that's just 2 twists of the front face. All right, we're almost there. We got a couple more to cover. We have what we call the U twist, and that's where U stands for up, or upper side of the cube. That's where we're going to take the entire top of the cube and turn it clockwise 1 time. Yep.
Then we have U back.
Which is just taking it and going counterclockwise.
Then we have U2.
Yep. And last but not least, we have what we call the D twist, which is just the down or the bottom of the cube. That's where we take it and we turn it clockwise. What else we got?
We have D back, which is simply backwards. Then D2 again, either way.
Yeah, that about covers it for the basic movements. If you have questions or comments on these, please comment below and we'll answer every question. We're going to try to. Also, like I said earlier, we're going to be publishing at least 8 more videos to cover the 8 steps of the Rubik's Cube. What should people do if they're interested in those?
Make sure to like and subscribe.
There you go. Like and subscribe and you'll hear about when we post all the steps to this cube. Thanks.
Bye.